Vision Avant with the Visionary Book Club Review Call, as well as broadcast. And I want to welcome everybody, as well as thank everybody for your patience as we had some technical difficulties. Still was not able to figure out what happened, but that's okay. We're going to keep it moving anyway, because I tell you, one little challenge does not stop the show. And I think that actually is really, really important for what it is that we're going to be discussing on today. Today, we're going to be reading we're starting with a brand new book. And I tell you, it's just been exciting so far with all the stuff that we've been able to do within the Visionary Book Club, you know, from reading The Four Agreements by Miguel Ruiz to, you know, How to Win Friends and Influence People. We've also gone through, we just finished the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which was definitely an amazing read, I believe, for myself, just because of, you know, where we've actually gone in a very short period of time. Because when I first read the book, guys, I tell you, I couldn't follow through all the way. And now just knowing that we can actually do that just because we were able to dive fully in, it definitely was an amazing read. But tonight we're actually reading What to Say to Yourself When You Talk to Yourself. And guys, I think this is definitely a great transition into where we are right now as a group. And for those individuals who are brand new to the book club, you know, you're definitely here at the right time. You know, Mr. Shad Helmstetter actually wrote this book, Dr. Shad Helmstetter, shall we say. And this book really, it talks about, you know, once you've gotten all the development, the personal information, you know, how can you actually stick with it? And I thought that this was definitely a powerful transition because we have been learning so much. And if you want, you're always welcome to go back to the past reviews. You can go to visionarybookclub.com and sign up. And then, of course, you're able to see the past reviews that we've been able to do. Also, I'm going to have a treat for you. Starting very soon, when you go to visionarybookclub.com, you can actually, there will be a link, I'll include a link that will take you to a special channel where you can go back and look at all the past video reviews, as well as if you want to listen to it by audio on SoundCloud, because you can download these audios onto your phone with SoundCloud and be able to kind of refresh yourself while you're going back and going through these books. One thing, guys, that I believe, even though we're reading new books, you know, we're going through each book and we're starting a new book, I definitely believe that if a book identifies with you, you want to keep that book a part of, you know, your arsenal, okay? You want to keep that book with you and you want to continue to read it and continue to study it. Personal development, you know, with just one piece of material is not something you just read one time. I believe that it is something that you want to continue, you know, to read over and over again. So we're going to go ahead and start. We're reading chapters, well, we started with the introduction, chapters 1, 2, and 3 on today. Chapter 1 is Looking for a Better Way. Chapter 2, The Answers. And Chapter 3, What Works and What Doesn't. Okay? So now just going into Chapter 1, Looking for a Better Way. I'm going to go through these bullet points, but I'm definitely going to add a little bit to it. But we know what life has to offer, so what is the wall that stands in our way? And what, you know, what we mean by that, you know, Dr. Helmstetter actually talks about so much, you know, in regards to the programming that we receive. But also we know that, you know, there's limitless opportunities. There's so many things that we can be doing, so many great things that we can accomplish in life. And we know this, like we know this, especially all of you guys that are a part of this Visionary Book Club review. Why do you know? Because you're part of this. You want better. You know there's better. The only reason why you've joined the club is because you know that without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt in your heart. And you're just trying to find whatever the trigger is, whatever it is that you need within yourself so that you can go after and have those. Or maybe you're just wanting to continue to increase the great things that are taking place in your life. But without a doubt, we know that life has amazing things to offer, but we've got to figure out what is the wall that stands in our way. You know, living a life with no challenges, just hope, promise, expectation, and achievement. You know, that's what most of us want. Unfortunately, in the real world, that's not the reality. And that's what we've been given ourselves to believe, that it's not the reality. There's no way that you can go through life without challenges. And, of course, that goes through the programming. And when you think about it, the programming that we've been given, everybody's programming is different. You know, I think about the way I came up and the way some of my friends have come up. It's totally different. But when you think about it, when you were a child, I always tell people some of the best people to watch are babies, are children. I don't mean like baby babies, but like little babies that, you know, from the age of 2 to 6 years old. Because at that point in their life, they haven't yet really gone to school. They haven't been told what they can and cannot do. They haven't had limits placed upon their future. They just believe big. You know, they believe that this can happen, whatever can happen. One day they're going to be an astronaut. The next day they're going to be, you know, a scientist. The next day they're going to be a lawyer. The next day they're going to be on television. I mean, they just have amazing beliefs. They have an amazing imagination. But when you think about it, guys, what happened between us being 2 to 6 years old to where we are today? Well, there was a lot of beliefs that were given to us, a lot of limiting, and also some that didn't limit us, right? There were certain things that we were told. You know, I remember being told, guys, so many different things that had such a major impact on my life. You know, just to kind of give you one example, I remember when I was in middle school, guys, I was in middle school, and I remember that my teacher told me that if you had one television, you were poor. You're poor. And so the programming that I received from middle school on up was that we were poor because we had one television. In fact, I even remember our TV was so small, it was like about this big. It was literally this big. It was black and white, had antennas. It was a white TV, but the screen was black and white. Like, I'll never forget it. We used to carry it around. And so in my mind, I'm thinking we're poor, right? And so that's the belief that I have in me. That's the belief I believe always going to be, because that's what I'm surrounded by. So when you think about it, guys, you know, we're given a lot of beliefs as a child. And sometimes we don't do it. We do it to other people. We don't do it on purpose, but that's just how it is. You know, two things that Shad Helmstetter studied. He studied the human behavior and then motivational marketing. Okay, two things that he really wanted to put some emphasis on when he was discussing in chapter 1. And human behavior, you know, why is it that we do certain things? Why do we do what we do? You know, simply human behavior. And he talks about how, you know, even as, you know, I guess you say seasoned, you know, individuals, how they have a better handle at understanding human behavior. And of course that goes through because they've experienced more life. And then motivational marketing. Forced marketing, you know, doing stuff that you don't really want to do, but you do it anyways. When you think about it, you know, I think about, you know, for example, people were talking about, you know, the new iPhone that came out, right? And I know people personally that said, well, I don't want to get it, but everybody's telling me, you know, you got to get the new phone, you got to get the new technology. You know why? Because it's motivational marketing. It's marketing that you continue to see, and it's more so almost a forced idea upon you. It's not that you're forced to do it, but it's a forced idea. And these are the things that actually give us the paradigms, the beliefs that we have of who we are and how our life should be. And what we've got to learn to do is, you know, be able to master our future, right? Master our future. But the way that we master our future is first mastering ourselves. Now, going into chapter 2, the answers, okay? The answers. Well, and I'm going to pull my face on just for a little while, you know, so you can show my face. How y'all doing again? All right, the answers. And so, you know, I want to talk a little bit more about that. And one of the things Dr. Helmstetter says, he says that we know there's so many answers. There's millions and millions of, you know, documented information of what we've got to do to be able to have success. The answers are out there. What are we doing, right? What are we doing? And the question is, if there's so many answers, if there's so many solutions, you know, let's think about it. Even, you know, real estate. I just picked the industry, real estate. You can go right now and Google how to be successful in real estate. In fact, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it right now as an example while we're on this webinar. And matter of fact, I'll share my screen again so you guys can see. Okay. And so I'm going to look up how to be successful in real estate. Why am I going to do that? Because I want to just prove a point that there's thousands of articles. Look at this, 48,900,000 results. When I looked up, guys, when I looked up how to 48,000 48,900,000. So if there's so many articles, if so many people know how successful, what is going on, right? Why aren't people succeeding? In fact, the numbers say that majority of most people in the industry of real estate don't even own a home. Not that, I don't believe it's a problem, but it's just a statistic. They also say majority of most people in the real estate industry don't even sell homes, right? They never even sell a home. And so the question is, again, and I'm just picking a random industry, guys, I can tell you it's all across the board for every industry. If I say how to be successful in network marketing, it's going to be just as many. Matter of fact, let me just look that up right now too. How to be successful in network marketing, right? I didn't even have to finish it. Well, there's actually less, but it's 5,700,000. How to be successful in insurance, right? How to be successful in relationships. If there are so many answers out there, right, then why aren't people having success? It's 136 million articles talking about success in the insurance industry, 136 million. So if there's so many answers, why don't we have success? And that's one of the things that he actually probes. In fact, let me pull up these statistics again, because guys, you got to see these alarming numbers. Because when I was reading the book, I'm just like, wow, this has a lot to do with our programming and our self-beliefs. The first 18 years of our lives, we are, that's not supposed to say gold, but that's supposed to say told, no more than 148,000 times. This is the typical, 18-year-old. By the time they turn 18, the average 18-year-old, they have been told no more than 148,000 times. If you have a good situation, let's say you come from a better background, you might be at 100,000, right? But even at the best of the best, 50,000 was the average number of times that, but by the time you turn 18, that person has been told no. Guys, that's an alarming number. Think about it. And then when you think about how many times are you told that you can be whatever you want to be, that you can do it, that you've got it. And typically, if you weren't in some kind of athletic sport, because that's the only time I ever remember anybody giving me the self, affirmation of you can do it. Honestly, or in some kind of competition where now I'm competing against someone else, and that means that only one person wins. So if I lose, then now, I'm a loser, right? And so never have we been told, when you think about it, guys, you can do whatever you want to do. That's why so many people, even when I look at my industry of network marketing, guys, this industry of network marketing has made more millionaires than any other industry, right? But because people have been brought up and been told certain things about the industry, they already have a certain level of belief. Why? Because it's the programming they were given, right? How many times, I want you to think about that, how many times do you believe you were told yes, as from 1 to 18? And guys, this has a direct reflection on the program that we have been given in the first 18 years, which have created the rest of our lives, right? Also, 77%, when you think about how the brain works, right? And this is why it's more attractive to someone to see something negative than positive. And even if you don't speak negatively, I can guarantee you this. If you're one of those people that's, you do a little searching of social media and, you're online and viewing online, I don't think you guys have heard anything that I've spoken so far on this call. But if you're on social media and you're online and browsing online, for those of you that are on the call as well, I'll make sure we have to do it again, even if we do it tomorrow, so you guys can hear. But for social media, browsing online, what typically catches your eye before anything? The negative stuff, right? The negative stuff. Why? Because 77% of everything that we think is negative, whether we know it consciously or not. In our subconscious mind, that's what's taking place within our lives. 77% of everything we think of is negative. Then 75% of all illnesses are self-induced. This is something else he wrote down. 75%. Guys, and I truly believe that, because when you think about it, if you've ever met somebody that's gone to the doctor and been given a diagnosis, especially if it's life-threatening, typically what happens to the health? It goes down immediately. Why? Because it's all within the mind. And all I can do, whenever I think about people getting those, getting an illness that's life-threatening, that's literally, giving you a countdown on your life, I think about the movie The Secret, because, I think about how in that movie she talks about, one of the young ladies talks about how she was diagnosed with cancer, stage 4 cancer. And she said all she could do was make sure that she was in a positive environment around people that were positive, and she made sure that she focused on laughing and enjoying life, and she was able to actually beat that because it was all within the mind. Unless the programming that we received is erased or replaced, guys, we can never change our lives. It will stay permanent. So what I mean by that is you can read 100 million gazillion books. You can listen to 100 million gazillion audios. You can go to 100 million gazillion conferences and seminars, but until you change your self-beliefs of yourself, who you are. I met a woman recently. She had attended, some of the best seminars in the world, some of the best, and spent a lot of money. A lot of money, guys. She was spending a lot of money. And one of the things that she was asking me some questions about success and things like that. And I said, well, one of the things I've had to learn how to do is stop allowing myself to believe that I was shy. Now, is it still a limiting belief or a belief that's within myself that still actually is around? Yes, and that only will change through some of the stuff we're going to talk about today. But I told her, I said I had to stop being shy, I had to stop being scared to talk to me. She said, oh yeah, because that's something I'll never be able to do. I'll never be able to talk to people. And you see how just that instantly she showed me, because when I'm reading the book, I'm like, wow, she showed me that no matter how many seminars she goes to, no matter how many audios she listens to, no matter how many books that she reads, as long as she believes that she could never talk to people, she will never talk to people. Why? Because that's what must change. It's not that you know all this stuff. You know great things are available to you. You know that if I speak it, I believe it. You know that if I write it down. But if you're still, you can read all the affirmations in the world. But if you're believing within that that's not me. I can never be that person. I don't even see myself. Then that's where we've got to be able to change that. And so, man, I'm excited. This book, I believe, is definitely going to be a very, very pivotal book for the Visionary Book Club. And so also, just those numbers are alarming, right? So your success or failure in anything, large or small, will depend on your programming. How much of what you do and how you act determines from your programming, right? What you accept from others and what you say when you talk to yourself. It is dependent upon your programming. What do you believe about who you are, what you are? When somebody says, oh, that's just you, and you agree with it, it's all from the programming that you've allowed yourself to receive. What you put in, and we know this, what you put in, you get out, right? What you put into your own, if going back to the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, what you put into your own mental bank account, right? Into your own mental bank account is what you're able to pull out. Luck or desire has the slightest thing to do with it. You ever had somebody talk about, well, that person is lucky? No, it might have a lot to do with the programming that they received. I was just watching a video today, just before this webinar, this presentation of this young kid. His name is Hollis, and I forget the last name. I just remember Hollis. And I think it's Hollis or Olive. Yeah, Hollis. He's a football player. And the young man was just so powerful. I mean, football player, he was powerful. Say you could do whatever you want. You believe it, you can have it. Success is yours. All you got to understand is that it's always going to work for you. And he was saying, even though we started off slow, I knew that we would pick up. Just because we started off slow doesn't mean that we can't get fast. He said we all knew that we were going to finish fast at the end. And he was just giving it, like he was just giving it to this reporter. And I'm just thinking to myself, wow, his programming is going to lead him into a dynamic life because he doesn't have a fear of not having success. But when we think about our lives and we reflect back, well, we can't continue to blame all the stuff that happened in our past. We just now have to, because if we continue to blame the past, that means we're going to always stay in the past. We now have to make a decision that we're going to let it go. We're going to change the programming so that we can be able to focus forward, okay? So let's go back to this PowerPoint presentation again, okay? So we've got to be able to focus on changing the programming. Now, the brain simply believes what you tell it most. It doesn't care if it's right or wrong. You know, this is something I learned from my mentor. Always discussing, whether or not it's good or it's bad, whatever it is that you feed the brain will believe. If it's right or wrong, the brain will believe. And so you have to be careful of the things that you're storing into your conscious mind, which eventually become a part of your subconscious mind. All right? What could your future hold? This is still a part of Chapter 2. Those who with successful lives maybe have better programming, so we must change our program. We talked about that, right? Remember, the brain simply believes what you tell it most. And what you tell it about you, it will create. Are you telling your brain, I'm shy? Are you telling your brain, I could never do that? Are you telling your brain, well, I don't think it's going to happen? You know, I had a young lady I was talking to just the other day about the industry of networking, and we were talking about the differences because some people believe if they've got a marketing background, they can instantly come into this industry and have success. Right, and I tell you, it just doesn't work like that. You know, this industry of networking has nothing to do with necessarily the marketing skills that you have. It has a lot to do with your people skills. And so I was telling her, I said, well, it's a little bit different. Now, mind you, from where we have been able to go in the industry, of course, some people do know the background. We've been able to have a great amount of success. In fact, we just finished doing a little bit of an event tonight. But that's just what we do, right? But one of the things I was telling her is, well, it's a people's business, so you got to really be able to work. Interrupt me. Oh yeah, I understand, but I've been doing this for 8 years. I've been doing this for 8 years, so I already know how to do this. And I was just like, wow, and all that I could think of in my mind was her programming has really led her into the point of being defensive. Right, of not really wanting to listen and being it almost seemed like a little combative, but I had to then think within myself and say, okay, I can't take it personal. This is just her programming, right? This is just her programming. And in order for her to have a different amount of success in life, because she must have clearly been looking for an opportunity, that's why she was there, right? We've got to change the programming. And so if it's something that the person wants, then great. But if they don't want to change your programming, guys, I don't care, again, how much information you have. I can give you another example. I had a leader, and he was just, he was amazing in regards to reading all his personal self-development. Like, he read a lot of personal self-development. But one of the things I was telling him was he's got to learn to be able to talk to people the right way, right? Personal self-development. You got to learn to talk to people the right way. And he just never changed that. He just never changed the programming that he probably learned as a child, maybe from his parents or from his teacher, and he just never changed that. And so he would work extremely hard. He would read all the books. He could quote a book back verbatim, and he was still not having success. Why? Because the programming that he received as a child of how to interact with people, guys, it didn't matter how much reading he did. If he didn't work on that, then guess what? Everything else was null and void. Didn't matter. Didn't matter how much you read. And so, that's, again, working on what we talk about today to ourselves and believe who we are and things like that. It's just absolutely important, right? Now, and so I put up this, right, and I saw this online. It said, what if from your childhood you were given, and I just want you to think about this yourself. In your childhood, what if you were given extra confidence, double determination, more belief in outcomes, extra confidence, double determination, extra confidence, double determination, extra confidence, double determination. Imagine that. I remember, guys, when I was a child, I would join these courses, get in these courses, and I would end up wanting to quit them, right, because I thought they would be too hard, and my father never let me quit them. Ever. He never let me quit. I remember I was taking AP Calculus and another AP class, and no matter how much I begged and pleaded, he never let me quit. And it really installed a lot of thought and belief in myself to never give up, right? More belief in the outcomes and not what's going on. Think about that. What if you were brought up where you were taught not to focus on what it looks like today, but where you're going to be when it's all said and done? Would you have a better job? Would you have more money? Do you think you would have a different personal life? And my question is, okay, if you think all of that, then what we need to do is work on what's going on within, right? Remember, it's not the pen but the writer. So again, two, three people can have the same pen, but one can create a book that becomes a New York bestseller. It's all because of their programming. All because of their programming. Now, chapter 3, and this is where he starts to go into a little bit of, talking about the different of what works and what does not work. Okay. And the first thing, guys, is, I just want to ask you again, do you attend events and seminars? Do you read books? Do you listen to audios? Do you do all those things that you've been told to do that's going to help to elevate your thinking? Right? Of course, we all do it. That's why we're part of the Visionary Book Club. But the question is, if we all do this, then why does it work for just a little bit of time, but then we end up reverting back to our old ways? Right? Why do we do that? Well, one thing that Dr. Helmstetter talks about in the fact of in the industry of self-help, billions of dollars are spent in this industry. So it's not that people don't want to grow, because we're willing to spend a lot of money. And I know personally, I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars, and always trying to be able to find out what can I do to go to the next level. And he says, and it's pretty bold of him when I'm reading it, because he said, all these self-help authors, they all have the right idea, but they're still missing, a piece to the puzzle. And he said there's 3 main ingredients that they're missing. The first is permanence. Permanence, the state or quality of lasting or remaining unchanged indefinitely. So that means that, what if, and I just think about this, what if we could read a book and learn all the successes, success in money, success in business, success in mindset, success in relationships, success in health and wellness. We could read this one book and we never had to read anything else again. It just became a part of who we were. Wouldn't it be crazy if that's how the mind worked? Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. The mind works based off of the subconscious programming that we've had throughout the years of our lives. So we might put something into the conscious mind and it'll work for a little while because consciously we're working at it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't create a state of permanence. The number 2 ingredient is we must understand we must ourselves understand the actual process by which the human brain accepts information. I think this is important too. How does the human brain accept information? Think about it. We never really talk about that. We read these books, but we don't really understand what's going to create the type of subconscious thinking, from this information that we're learning. What's going to really install it into our mindsets so we don't ever forget it? It just becomes a permanent way of thinking. What do we need to do so we don't quit doing that stuff? Because I know we all have the right intentions. We all want to be able to do great things, but unfortunately, we just always go back to the stuff, that we've been dealing with because of the way that we have always been. And then number 3 is a word-for-word set of directions. Programming vocabulary. I love that. Programming vocabulary. When you add it all up, you put it all together, basically all 3 of these together mean self-talk. And well, not mean, but all 3 of these together equate to self-talk. And that's what this book is all about. What to say when you talk to yourself. And he's going to go into detail of the self-talk ways that, the ways that we talk to ourselves that destruct ourselves, and how we can talk to ourselves to grow ourselves and create permanence. In understanding, and then because we understand how the brain receives information, we're able to utilize the programming vocabulary so that we can actually be able to create that life that we desire. So guys, I tell you, I'm excited about this book, and I tell you, I believe that it was definitely a challenge on why we couldn't get this thing rocking and rolling today. I mean, I even didn't record all the audio, and so with that said, I know that this is going to be an impeccable, amazing read, and I encourage you guys, again, I'm going to keep on encouraging you every single week. We want to have some people participate. Guys, I know it can be done because I've seen Google Hangouts, and people use their phones, people use their computers, people use their tablets. We did an interview the other day, and the young lady used her tablet to actually participate. So it can be done. You just got to make the conscious effort. Don't say that I'm gonna do it one day. Just do it. That we got to start working on the programming, working on that language, and of course we're going to learn all of these type of things as well as time goes through. Now, I also want to announce as well for those individuals, if you start participating, of course, and we put out the questions for the review. We put out the questions on Monday, and so once you get the questions, you definitely want to go ahead and answer them, and let me show you where you want to go answer them. Okay, so here's the Visionary Book Club review review on our Google Plus group. So even if you answer it, you see like if you go to upcoming events, and I'll go ahead and put the upcoming event for next week. If you click on it and you want to answer for that particular review, you can go here and put your answers to the questions right here. Okay, so you can do that, and then you can go to the Facebook Visionary Book Club review here, and where the events will be as well. There will be another event, so you can click on more, click on the events, and you can go to the next event where the book club is going to be. And this is not the right day, but if this was it, you could go here and you can put your answers right here. Okay. Now, when you do that, what's going to happen, guys, is you'll be entering yourself in to win a gift from me. And so you definitely want to make sure you do that. Next week, we're going to be reading Chapter 4, Chapter 5, Chapter 6, and Chapter 7 of What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. So this week, we don't have a winner, so we're definitely looking for a winner next week. Make sure, guys, if you haven't already done so, that you've joined my Visionary Circle by going to www.tariaavant.com. Also, you can download my app. You want to download my app? My app is available. Also, what's so cool about the app, if you download it, I'm going to show you guys on my computer. I'm going to show you on my screen. Well, if you download the app, see, this is the app right here. It has the Visionary Book Club, and you can listen to all the past Visionary Book Clubs. You can't really see because it's bright, but all the past ones on the SoundCloud, so you can actually listen to it from your phone, so you don't have to go look for it. And also we have my groups, so if you click on the groups, it will take you directly to the site as well, to the Visionary Book Club site here. So you can actually go straight to that. On here also, it has links to my networking group, Show You Success Networking, as well as Diva Dine. And so, download the app. It's got some great stuff on there, but it'll definitely allow you to stay up to date on the Visionary Book Club review call or video, hangout, all that good stuff. Guys, I'm looking to hang out with you, so, I definitely want to have some people participate. Like, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. So with that said, guys, today has just been an amazing, amazing day. Also, by the way, I don't think we're going to be able to review for next week, so we'll have to push it back a week after. I'll let you guys know because I'm going to be leaving for a big convention, and I don't think we finish until 10 o'clock that night, and that is Pacific Standard Time, so that's Central Standard Time, so that's 11 Eastern Standard Time, so that's a little late, right? So with that said, we will probably not review, but that doesn't mean you don't want to read your book and have it done in time. Then you read it again. Restudy the information, guys. This is all for you. It's not just so you feel like you got homework. This is so you can develop yourself, so you can grow. And I believe if we really, really do what we need to do, guys, we're going to go to the next level. It's just without a doubt, it's done. So with that said, my name is Taria Vision Avant. It's been an absolute privilege and pleasure to present to you tonight what to say when you talk to yourself. So don't talk to yourself bad. Talk good. See you next week. Bye.